Hey guys, this is Dave with Audio Win, and this is the Aful Performer 5 Plus 2. And Aful has just been killing it with one great release after another, starting with the Performer 5, then the Performer 8, the Magic 1, and then they just recently released their $800 flagship, the Cantor. And all of those releases have been pretty incredible, with each of them offering some of the best performance that can be had within their respective price ranges. But now we have the 5 Plus 2, which is landing in the extremely competitive $200 to $300 price range. And it's going up against some really great releases like the Butterfly 61T, the Dyna Quattro, Aful's own Performer 5, and many, many more. So can the 5 Plus 2 compete within this price range, and can Aful keep these wins coming? Well, those are the questions I'm hoping I can answer in today's video. We have a lot to talk about, so let's get started. Okay, so I've already done an unboxing video of the 5 Plus 2, so we'll go ahead and just jump right into the specifications. This is priced at $239, and it has a Tribrid driver setup consisting of 2 dynamic drivers, 4 balanced armature drivers, and then a single micro planar driver. The shell's construction and size is very similar to the Performer 5, although it is a little larger. The overall quality of the finish is very good. I can tell you they were very careful with the shaping and the contouring of the shell, because while it is, again, it's a little bigger, I didn't have any fit issues or discomfort at all. The shell is very comfortable, and its construction and its overall build quality is very, very good. I also like the faceplate design. It does take a little bit of a different approach from the Performer 5 and 8. And if I'm being honest, I think this is my favorite Aful faceplate yet. I love it. Cable is also really nice. It's very soft. It's easy to manage, and I haven't really had any issues with tangling either. And it does go quite nicely with the aesthetics of the IEMs as well. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to sound. Okay, so in my initial impressions video with the 5 Plus 2, I had talked a little bit about my first listen with the set and how my first thought about its presentation was that it reminded me of the Performer 5 a little bit. But I did still need to do actual side-by-side comparisons to kind of confirm that. So, of course, for the last couple of weeks, I've been comparing the 5 Plus 2 with a lot of IEMs, but with the Performer 5 as well. And for the most part, I was able to confirm that my initial impressions were generally correct. So its presentation is going to be kind of riding that line between neutral and V-shape. So I guess you might call it a very mild V-shape, or almost neutral, but with a bass boost and even a little bit of a treble boost. And then the mids are a little more relaxed. And again, the Performer 5 takes a pretty similar approach to its tuning as well. And if you lay the graph of the Performer 5 over the graph of the 5 Plus 2, you're going to see those similarities. However, there are still some pretty significant differences in both the treble and bass presentations of these IEMs. And that contributes to the 5 Plus 2 having a slightly more engaging and exciting presentation than the Performer 5. But to kind of break things down a little further, starting with the bass. So as far as the bass presentation of the 5 Plus 2, in terms of quantity, this is actually north of what I would consider to be neutral, and it's definitely a little bit boosted. And the way they approached that bass curve, it seems to put most of the focus on everything below about 200 to 300 hertz. And in addition, it gives you nice amounts of extension as well, resulting in a fairly punchy and dynamic presentation, but then also with a nice amount of sub bass kind of supporting the rest of those bass frequencies. Now, just to remind you, this does add two dynamic drivers, and I can definitely tell because it is providing a fairly dynamic presentation, and it also brings a nice amount of physicality to its bass presentation. So it's going to provide a little more of a visceral bass experience, which I absolutely love. Again, contributing even further to that exciting presentation. And then as you transition out of the mid bass into the lower mids, I do like the approach they took to that transition because there is a little extra low mid and mid bass presence, enough to bring just a little bit of warmth, note weight, but also some richness to male vocals. But they also kept it clean, so there isn't really any perceivable bass bleed to worry about, and that clean presentation seems to carry quite nicely throughout the rest of the mid-range as well. So along with that slightly weightier lower mid-range presentation, you also get nice amounts of vocal and instrument detail and texture as well. And it also does a very good job of presenting instruments and vocals naturally. So there aren't really any weird peaks or dips that could contribute to certain instruments, or vocals sounding incorrect or unnatural in any way. Now, as far as the treble presentation, it does have some of the delicate characteristics that you can sometimes hear in a microplanar, although I'm still hearing what I would consider to be fairly good treble control. So I'm not hearing any peakiness or sibilance. However, I think what I am hearing would have more to do with the timbre of cymbals, I guess, because when I compare it to something like the Da Vinci or the Dynaquattro or the 61T, their treble sounds just a little more natural to me. That said, in isolation, I hardly noticed it, and it wasn't really even anything that distracted me from my listening experience. As a matter of fact, aside from that, the treble presentation has a ton of really great qualities. Again, bearing in mind it is a little more forward, but I still feel like it never crosses over into that harsh territory. So it keeps the listener engaged, but without becoming fatiguing. Now, I should point out that that extra treble energy or forwardness is mostly centered around the lower treble, and what that can do is bring a little bit of an edge or a bite to some vocals and instruments, again contributing even further to the 5+2's more engaging presentation. So some of the extra energy is centered around the lower treble, but it still has plenty of upper treble extension as well, which of course does add that shimmer, and it also gives the treble presentation some airiness as well. Okay, now in terms of technical performance, it's very, very good. And I would say it's on par, at least on par, with the Butterfly 61T, which is my current highest technical performer at the $200 price point. And I might even give the edge to the 5+2 in terms of soundstage and imaging, because I would actually consider its imaging and staging to be maybe even slightly above average when compared to other IEMs in this price range. But just to circle back to the Performer 5 quickly, and we will do other comparisons as well. So again, there is a little bit of a trade-off between these two. With the Performer 5, you are going to have, again, a little bit of a smoother mid-range and treble presentation, whereas the 5 Plus 2 is going to give you a little more bite in the upper mids and treble, and just generally a more engaging and exciting presentation. Now, as far as other comparisons, so some of my favorite IEMs in this $200 to $300 price range are the DaVinci, the Butterfly 61T, the Chopin, and then of course the Performer 5, mainly because of their tuning. The DaVinci has excellent bass performance, and it brings a thicker, warmer, more natural presentation, and is actually what I would consider to be probably the best IEM within this $300 price range. And then the 61T has more of a U-shaped presentation and also does have some pretty impressive technical performance as well. And then the Chopin, which also has more of a U-shaped presentation. And then we've got the Performer 5, which is going to be more neutral again with a bass boost. And that's also probably the order I would put them in as far as their performance. So the DaVinci is at the top, then the Butterfly 61T, the Chopin, and then the Performer 5. So of course the question is, where does the 5 Plus 2 kind of fit in or land in comparison with these? Well, in terms of its technical performance, I would say it's at least on par with the Butterfly 61T, maybe even a little bit better, but not quite to the levels of the DaVinci. So the 5 Plus 2 could be considered to be the best technical performer that I own for this $200 to $250 price category. But you all know that I prioritize tuning over technical performance, and I think I still might slightly prefer the Butterfly 61T's tuning over the 5 Plus 2, although I have to say it's tough because I really do like the 5 Plus 2's airy treble and its more engaging presentation. And again, it does have slightly better technical performance. So I guess for me, I could be very happy really with either one of those, with either the Butterfly 61T or the 5 Plus 2. They're both close enough to my tuning preference where I could thoroughly enjoy either one of them. And they both offer great technical performance for this $200 to $250 price range. That said, of course, the 5 Plus 2 gets a very strong recommendation from me, but I think it's really going to come down to your personal preferences. The 5 Plus 2 again has more of an engaging presentation with great technical performance, while the 61T is going to tame those upper mids and treble just a little bit and offer a slightly more relaxed or smoother presentation while still delivering great technical performance. All right, that's it for this review. Now I should tell you this $200 to $300 price range is getting even more competitive, and I have at least 3 more IEMs in this price range that are going to be on the review docket, including the Dragonfly 81T, Pula Anvil, and the Meyer Audio CK-D6-2. So right now, the Butterfly 61T and 5 Plus 2 are both in good positions, but that could change really fast. So keep an eye out for those upcoming reviews. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. If you like my content, please take a second and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you would please comment on this video, please like this video, please share this video. I hope you have an awesome day.